Hello and welcome to the Proper Marketing Podcast. Today I'm joined by Olivia McCaughran, Marketing Executive at Lancashire Business View. Olivia.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
You're very welcome.
So if we just start by, tell me a little bit about your marketing journey so far.
So I started doing marketing at 16. I left school, went straight into an apprenticeship. I went into manufacturing engineering for a couple of years, then I went into finance, and now I've landed myself at Lancashire Business View, which is quite fun.
And was that a digital marketing degree apprenticeship?
Yeah, digital marketing, but obviously back then there was no kind of, social media was a thing, but TikTok wasn't a thing, Instagram wasn't huge. It was all very like static, if that makes sense.
Right, okay. And just an overview, what does Lancashire Business View do?
So we are a magazine publication that it's bi-monthly, and it's basically, we discuss all things Lancashire. Each month we have different topics, so manufacturing, engineering, food and beverages, transport, creative, anything you can think of. We cover it throughout the year. And as well as the magazine, we bring the magazine to life through events. So our next one is next week actually, which is Net Zero Conference. So we focus on hot topics throughout the year, which is really interesting. We've just done health and well-being. So any topics that are hot in the world right now, we try and cover and get all of Lancashire together in one room to discuss it basically. I
think you also run a little small awards thing?
Oh, obviously. The Red Rose Awards. It's because I'm forgetting about that now. We've done that. It's under the carpet, and we literally it never stops. It finishes in March, the awards, and we're ready to go again in October. So that prep happens the day after the awards night. So yeah, Red Rose Awards, huge.
Yeah, because look, those are essentially the biggest awards event in Lancashire.
Yeah, we would say so. Yeah, it's huge. We have about 1,100 people attend in Blackpool. The room is huge. If anyone's ever been, they'll know the atmosphere is absolutely crazy. Yeah.
From a marketing point of view, what does your role look like at Lancashire Business View?
Obviously, every marketer will say every day is different, and they're not lying because it actually is. But for me, it's a lot of digital, so a lot of social, a lot of email, kind of working with the graphic designer to get all the brands on point, marketing our events, marketing the speakers, everything you can think of really. Kind of we're getting into video now, so just also anything marketing related.
So Lancashire Business View has been around sort of, that 20-year mark now. Traditionally came out as a print magazine publication. We're well into this digital era now. So how has the business sort of like changed over the years from your point of view?
Yeah, so back then obviously it was just the physical magazine, and we printed thousands and thousands, and obviously we still do that because it's what a magazine is for. But now the magazine can be accessed online. It's literally just a link, you can flick through it, and you don't necessarily need the magazine in your hand to get the experience. And as well, we've developed digitally online. We've got our website where all the stories in the magazine get fed online, so you can just kind of read them as an article as well. And people like yourselves can also hop online and join the hub and put their stories on too. So we've developed, I would say, quite a long way actually.
You've had a few roles in manufacturing, finance, and you've mentioned them, and now obviously a media publication. How was marketing? Was any industry more difficult? How was marketing in different industries, been? Yeah,
so with the engineering manufacturing, it wasn't very glamorous, and it's a very male-dominated, what's the word, kind of like society, I guess. And getting them to understand what marketing was, they just thought you were social media all day long, and that's not it. And then moving on to finance, not a fun topic to discuss, I'm not going to lie. And there's so many rules around it. There's certain things you can say, certain things you can't say. You have to have disclaimers. But now we're into media, it's kind of like an open world. We can market to all the SMEs, every sector, and it's not as closed as manufacturing and finance. We're not stuck with what we can do. We can kind of just do anything and it be accepted and people understand what we're trying to get to, because that's what media is.
Yeah, so essentially you've got a bit more freedom within the
Absolutely.
industry.
I don't have any tiny disclaimers on the bottom of social media graphic that ruins it. I don't have to send it to 10 people to sign off. It's a dream.
What are the successful campaigns that you've worked on, helped deliver at Lancashire Business View? Sort of what were the objectives, and then what did you actually do in terms of implementation and execution?
Yeah, I think for me personally, the Red Rose Awards is a huge campaign. There's never an end. We just refresh it each year. So again, that I'd say it starts, but it doesn't really start. We opened for entries in October, and the campaign starts from then, and it's trying to get different businesses of different types trying to tell us their story. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the multi-million-pound business. It can be Joe Bloggs down the road that's got this crazy story, and we just want to hear that. And it's marketing on the outside world for them to just tell us that story and think they are good enough. Then as we go through the process, it's telling their story. So when they become a finalist, they have the opportunity to be in the magazine and say a little bit more about themselves. And if they do go on to be a winner, then they just continue that throughout the campaign. So even now we've got winners, and we have peer networks every other month for the winners. And again, that campaign just carries on.
Right, okay. Is there anything else in the obviously Lancashire Business View other than the awards? Anything particularly sort of like successful that you've worked on?
I recently have been working on the Sub-36 campaign, I guess. So that was a thing prior to I started. And when I joined, I was kind of looking for it. It was non-existent at that point. It was a thing, and I think they didn't have enough time to bring it back to life, especially during COVID anyway, when Sub-36 is about meeting, seeing people face to face, that sort of thing. And we launched that last year, kind of like a teaser out there, see what we could do. We went bowling, and again, that was just social posts, email, word of mouth, that sort of thing. And before you know it, from a 20-person event, we're hosting one next month for 50, and that's just taken off really well.
How do you market that? Because to me, a lot of the people that are on there are employees of businesses. So whilst you're marketing to that person and making sure that they want to come, you've also got to get the business owner to essentially pay for them. So you're marketing to two audiences essentially.
Yeah,
how does that work?
And that's kind of the same for most things really. It's with the Sub-36, like you say, we've got to market to the employer and the employee. So it's telling the employer, kind of, if you send your employee to this, they will, it will benefit the business because they'll make more connections, and you don't know where those connections will lead to eventually. It kind of brings people out of the shell, makes them feel more incorporated into the business, that they're trusted to go out to these events. So a lot of younger people, they're kind of stuck at the desk because the senior roles, they do the fun marketing activities, and they go out to networking events, they go to the nice fancy dinners, and the Sub-36s are kind of just there. So we've kind of brought that to life. And then again, for these Sub-36s, it's getting them out of the shell, comfortable in networking. So when they do develop the role, they won't be shy, they can just go out there, talk, make connections, and just do that really.
Are there any sort of like challenges marketing the Sub-36?
Yeah, I do get this a lot, and I have to tell them otherwise, but sometimes the employer doesn't quite understand it, and we either start our events in the morning at 8:30 or at 3 o'clock, and no matter what time it starts, it will be in working hours. So for some employers, it's kind of like, well, why should I give them 2 hours off work to just do a fun activity in the afternoon? So it's getting it across. Yes, it is really fun, that's the whole purpose, but there is meaning behind it. And it's like jumping over that barrier and explaining the benefits, really.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of sort of like marketing as a whole, what do you, and this is a difficult question, what is marketing?
I should know this because that's all I've ever done. For me, marketing is getting your brand, your business out there in different means. So whether that be digital, whether that be print, It's getting people to know who you are and what you're about and your ethos, and using different methods, basically.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you face in marketing?
So with the magazine, we have something called forward features. So every edition, we focus on different sectors and topics, and it's trying to market the magazine, but for all those different topics. So whereas kind of a finance company would just focus on the finance, we've got to focus on, say, hotspots, which could be Preston. We've got to get all the Preston people drawn in. If it's food and beverages, we've got to draw in all the food and beverages. So it's kind of doing targeted marketing lots of different ways, because we have so many sectors drawn into the magazine. It's kind of how do we get to everyone specifically rather than like mass market.
Yeah, so you just mentioned sort of like targeting people. How do you go about sort of like targeting a certain audience?
Yeah, so we've been going for 20 years now, and we've got the data within the business. So obviously we use what's within the business, do targeted marketing, email campaigns, social, the rest of the stuff. And the other bit is the social media as well. We've got to go out and tell people this is what we've got coming up. If you want to get involved, let us know. And the team attend a lot of networking events as well, which again are an important part of marketing. It's getting your name out there just in a different way.
And whilst marketing will change the methods from industry to industry, what are the things that you believe all businesses could do to market themselves successfully?
Being on social media, especially these days, is so powerful, because the first thing I do, whether it's a restaurant or I've just been looking for insurance currently, if I'm going through to do my research, I think it's because I work in marketing, but I will always check if they've got a website firstly, and it's up to date and optimised, and then I'll always check for social media, because I think it's such a small thing within the business, but if they're not on there, it gives that credibility. So I wouldn't necessarily go to a restaurant that has no Facebook, because why on earth would they not be on Facebook?
So that businesses need to be across multiple platforms.
Yeah.
How do you start to decide what platforms are important for a business, for Lancashire Business View?
Yeah, so the obvious one, you've just got to trial and error more than anything. I started doing kind of all the social platforms, doing emails a certain way, and eventually you learn looking at the stats, what performs well, what time of day, to what type of audience. And once you've collated all the analytics, you kind of know, well, I might as well not put as much effort into Twitter. Focus on LinkedIn. Keep all your graphic stuff for Instagram, because people love to see imagery rather than words on Instagram. So it's knowing your audience, knowing what they want to see, and kind of looking at your customer personas and putting them into place. If I was a reader of our magazine, where would I want to see the images? Where would I want to see the words? How would I best access that? Do I want it coming straight to my inbox? Do I want to just scroll on social and click it and it be there? And it's even just your market research, just doing what's correct and what works for you, really. You
mentioned about customer personas and market research, and as a marketing agency we understand developing that marketing strategy, which a lot of people can see as a bit of fluff sometimes, is actually crucial. You see businesses going, we're going to go here, there, but they're in the total wrong areas for where their audience are. So for you, what goes into a good persona? How do you do good marketing research to be able to make sure that you're showing up in the right places?
Yeah, so for us, with our events, we have these amazing ideas, and there's only 8 or 9 people in our team, and we sit around the table and say, yeah, let's do it, perfect. But we've got to stop and think, is this what the people in that industry will want? So we will always go to the professional people out there that are in the industry of the event, and we will say, look, if we were to host this event, what topics would you want to see? Who would you want to speak? How can we deliver that so people of your industry will attend? And even just doing research, what other things are out there that are successful and that people do want to attend, and how we can incorporate that. And even just looking at the trends throughout the year, if solar is really hot right now, like an energy and electric cars, they are the range at the moment, and knowing that is trending, it's bringing that in, because that's what people want to hear. There's no point discussing something that's just dead topic, because it's irrelevant really.
Yeah, no, I think you mentioned a good point there about actually just asking your customers.
Yeah, why not?
I think a lot of businesses don't do that. And the sort of touch, you know, when I was going through the rebrand recently, I was actively speaking to my customers and saying, what do you think about this? What do you think about this logo? What do you think this branding looks like? And stuff like that. And I think it's, you know, you can't do it to every customer.
No.
But your best customers, you obviously know, you know, the ones that you can sort of like discuss those things with. I think it's a really useful tool that a lot of businesses don't utilise. What do you think makes marketing campaigns fail? You know, there's quite a lot of marketing campaigns that just flop. Why do you think that is?
I think sometimes it can be people are just late to the game. If something was trending 3 months ago, marketing's very fast paced. It's very fast paced regardless of which channel you're using. And if they're kind of doing what was great a couple of months ago and they're kind of doing that now, they've lost the traction of their audience. And as well, sometimes they've not understood the market, who the target audience is. They're just churning out what they want to see and not focusing on, you know, the benefits to the customer.
What other aspects start to form a good marketing strategy for any campaigns that Lancashire Business View are doing? Yeah,
any campaign we do, first and foremost, marketing plan. How we will get there is what channels we'll use, whether that's digital, print, word of mouth, whether it's networking events. That's how we start every single campaign, and then we think, right, okay, what are the first steps? We need those graphics in place, we need the wording, and then we can start to send it out and see if it gains any traction. And if it's a slow moving, we're not getting anything back, we'll take a look back at the marketing campaign and the plan to see, okay, how do we tweak it? Do we do more of what went well? Do less of what people weren't really interacting with?
The marketing channels before you look at the content. You know, another sort of like mistake, I guess, that I see some brands making is that they develop this marketing message, and then, like you say, you know, we put it out on the wrong channels. You know, at proper, we're all on about before we develop any marketing messages, create any content, anything like that. What channels are we going to use to be able to actually reach that audience? Because if you might have the best marketing message in the world, but if it doesn't actually reach your audience, then it's going to go down like a lead balloon, essentially.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, I will put loads of effort into a LinkedIn post, and the 80-20 rule, you put 20% in, get 80 back. Sometimes I put 80% in and get 20% back, and it's painful, and sometimes you've got to take a step back and think, right, okay, they clearly don't want the business side of things. They want the more easygoing, kind of low-key marketing, putting it in there now and again. It's not forced.
Where do you see marketing sort of like going in the future, in terms of, you know, there's the boom of AI and things like that. How do you think that's going to affect marketing and just the future of marketing, really?
Yeah, I think AI obviously will play a big part in it, but it will always need the human touch. For instance, on National Women's Day, Independent Women Day, I scrolled through LinkedIn and it was just all the same post, because they'd asked ChatGPT, write me a post about International Women's Day, and it was the same sentence over and over again, just a couple of words changed. And I think AI is not going to work that way for you. People don't understand that. Yes, use it as a concept, but then make it your own, make it not sound like a robot, because your business isn't a robot. But I think it will really help in the future for even like content ideas. It gives you 5 topics and you work on those topics rather than it doing the hard work. and I use it all the time, but just for like reordering names and alphabetically, I use it lazily, to be honest.
So Lancashire Business View is essentially a media company. I stand by a saying, and I can't remember who it's by, but everybody should see themselves as a media company. And I think as we enter this digital where we've got video, podcasts, all different types of media, it's never been more true, because I think as consumers, when we're looking for brands, looking to buy from brands, we do actually look for content for them. So and we tend to go with the brands that are producing the best content. I just wanted to get your sort of like thoughts behind that, really. Obviously you guys are a media company. Is that sort of do you think that's true, that we need to be producing really good quality content?
Like I said before, anything I buy, the first thing I do is I'm searching online whether they've got a website, a social platform, if the Google reviews are up there, TripAdvisor, that sort of thing. I think if the social content or the website's really out of date, the Google reviews, they've got 32 stars. The social media is kind of dire. They've not put much effort into it. If they can't be bothered to do all that, then I think, well, is the customer service going to be any good? Am I going to get the product on time, or are they going to respond to my emails quick enough? And if they can't understand that marketing is an important aspect, then do I want to give my my money, do I want to work with them, basically?
How do you go about creating good content for Lancashire Business View?
Well, I'm glad you think it's good. It's difficult, really, because we market events, we market the magazine, we market other people as well, and it's putting time and effort into those and understanding again what people want to see. So, and what works really well for us is people want to see people. If it's a picture of a person, it will do so much better than kind of an infographic with just some words, because people correlate to people buy from people, that's just the saying, and that works really well for us. Hence, you pick the magazine up, picture after picture after picture of people. Now and again there'll be a stock image in there. It's because people may not want to share what they look like, but for us, it's just creating content we know that people want to see and people enjoy and that all they'll benefit from.
How do you, when you're starting to put out campaigns, how do you measure the effectiveness? We've talked about analytics a little bit. What are the steps that you take to actually measure the effectiveness of certain campaigns? Yeah,
so always at the beginning, during and at the end of the process, we'll always look at the analytics and see if at the beginning, before we start, kind of set, not a goal, but we want it to do well, this is kind of what we expect. In the middle, it's kind of, are we on track to get where we want to be? And then towards the end, it's kind of like, okay, we've this many link backs, we've got this many sales off the back of it, this many people talking about it, this many hashtags used. And we always look at the analytics, whether that be in the channel, so in LinkedIn or in our email campaign, but also we'll always look at Google Analytics and use those analytics, because we might think it's good, but when no one's clicked through to your link or the impressions, it's got 100 impressions, then something's gone wrong, basically.
How important today is a personal brand?
Oh, everything. For Lancashire Business View, we kind of, obviously Lancashire Business View is the brand, but I think every single person that works with us holds that for Lancashire Business View. So Lancashire Business View, people will automatically think of Richard or Stephen or someone else in our team, and that's kind of what we want. We know we have this really strong Lancashire Business View brand, but the team carry it with them wherever they go. So we all speak about the magazine the same way, we talk about our events the same way, and we know people come to us through us, not as Lancashire Business View. So yeah, it's really important for us.
How much in advance do you plan campaigns?
So we have we have a full-on calendar. So with all of our events, all the magazines, it's set out, and we have it, and this is when the planning takes place. This is when design takes place. This is when editorial takes place. This is when we start to market it. This is when we start to analyse how well we're going with it. And then at the end, we always do a debrief, whether that's on the magazine to see, has it been delivered on time? Has it reached the right audience? How are we going to get people to see it that haven't already seen the magazine? Or for an event, we'll always do a debrief as who attended, are they the right people in the room? How many numbers did we get in there? Did anyone generate any business in the room? Did anyone make any new connections? And that's how we plan the campaign, but it kind of never stops. We finish one campaign and then we learn from that, and we use that to start with the next one. So it's just ongoing, really.
I believe that you are a member. I'm not too sure of the levels. Can you tell me a bit about it and why it's important, or is it important? Is it impactful to your career?
I did my CIM, so I'd finished my apprenticeship, and then I was kind of looking for the next best thing because I assumed education was it. Because I'd never went to college, didn't go to uni, did my apprenticeship. Then I was like, okay, what's next? And I did my CIM level 4. It was good for the theory of it all. Obviously, you've got your ADAs, all your little your marketing matrix, your 7Ps, that sort of thing. But it's knowing how to actually put them in your marketing plan in your day-to-day life. It's all good being able to list them and write it down, but it's actually doing it. And I found the CIM was helpful for the theoretical side, but then when it came to actually implementing it into my day job, it was kind of like, okay, how do I do that now? I'm looking back at paperwork thinking, gosh, right, my desire, my actions, all that sort of thing. But I wouldn't stop there with my education with marketing. Obviously, there's always online courses I'm attending. There's marketing mix events out there. I did a video course with you to learn more. There's just always out there. I don't feel being part of the institute is great because there's always materials out there you can learn from, but I think the learning comes from real life work, being in the job, doing it, putting it into practice. That's where the learning happens, and that's where learning starts.
From a marketing point of view, what do you think makes Lancashire Business Views successful?
I think because we've been going now for 20 years, people trust us in what we do. They know whatever's in the magazine is factually correct, and we have editors that go out there, find the stories, and they know we'll always bring the best news to people, and that's kind of what they want to see. We celebrate people, and that's kind of what we've done. We've tried to tell Lancashire's story through words and images and videos, and people enjoy that. Someone's got to be there to tell the story, and that is our role as the magazine, and people trust that, and it's worked for 20 years. It's developed, like you say, from just being print. Now you can access it digitally, you can get it on your phone, your laptop, whatever, and it's just growing with the rest of the world, really. It's how everyone else grows up. We've just gone along with it.
For a startup then, who might not have that rich history, have been going 20 years, I suppose what I'm trying to get at is, not every business will have that. What can those businesses do to market themselves successfully?
I would say definitely try just networking events, because people they'll trust you more than the company. I don't care what logo's on your t-shirt, I know Aidan, and regardless of the name, I will come to you rather than the brand. So just getting out there, getting your name out there, building that trust with those people, then your connections will start to link, people will send business your way, and then eventually they will know proper rather than, they'll know the brand rather than your name, and then it comes back together really nicely. And just getting your name out there personally, and then people will develop to know your brand and know what it stands for, and I would say it works like that, really.
On the sub 36 stuff, you're clearly a big advocate for, and I have been told this actually by your colleagues, that you do want to push sort of like the youth, the younger people, and stuff like that. Why is that?
I think being young myself, it's seeing the crazy talent out there and knowing that people similar ages, you know, sub 36, they are just as good as us above 36. Whether that's in the creative world, in the professional world, in marketing, there's nothing. Yes, the older people might have more experience, but in terms of skill set, I would say they're on par. And I'm always big for getting young people in the magazine, to the events, and just being the face, because these people will have to retire at some point, and if they've not let the young person have a go or be their best selves, then they'll kind of just stay at that level. They'll retire, and who's kind of filling that gap in between? They've got to nurture that young talent, bring them up, and give them that chance to shine and take over the brand and bring it up to life. And it's 2024, and I think if you are still keeping your young talent in the office, hidden, doing the mundane tasks, then they will never learn, and they'll never want to kind of stick around, because they want to be on shore, progress, do the personal development plans and things like that. And it's these people were young at one day. They were sub 36, and I think they would have loved to have the opportunity we have now. And I think we're really lucky to be able to go to the farm and have fun and sit and do these things without, you know, having to worry what my boss is going to think, because I've been out the office 2 hours filming a podcast. It's having the responsibility that the older guys have, basically.
Is there a certain type of content that you're planning to produce more of for Lancashire Business View?
Yeah, so I think video for us has always been, obviously, multimedia. Every channel we need to fit across, and we're lacking on the video department now, so hopefully this will help us. We have just bought a microphone and a gimbal, so it's my task now to start producing videos, whether that be one-to-one interviews, kind of a roundup of an event, you know, bringing the magazine to video. That's what we really want to get into, because the stats are out there. The amount of people just scrolling on the phone on videos is crazy. And then the other one is if they scroll with subtitles. Not many people watch videos with sound anymore, and that's another one, trying to get the message across without it being too wordy, or else I don't think that will work for us.
Well, thanks for coming on. That was really, really good insight and stuff on how Lancashire Business View do their marketing, your progression. But yeah, thank you very much.
No, thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to listening and watching the rest of the podcast. Thank you.